In wake of the revelations that now multiple US citizens who are children are being deported, what is the Trump team gonna say? What's their defense against all of this? It looks pretty bad, looks illegal, looks unconstitutional. Well, here's the border czar, Tom Homan, doing his best.
No US citizen child was deported. Deported means you got to be ordered, reported by the immigration judge. We don't deport US citizens.
The mother was deported along with the children.
The children aren't deported. The mother chose to take the children with her. When you enter the country illegally and you know you're here illegally and you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, that's on you. That's not on this administration. If you choose to put your family in that position, that's on them. But having a U.S. citizen child after you enter this country legally is not a get out of jail free card. It doesn't make you immune from our laws.
Yeah, the only thing that makes you immune from our laws is becoming president. But anyway, yeah, no, don't worry about the kids. We're not doing it. We're not going before immigration judges. And I think he slipped up by revealing that. Yeah, that's the real truth. I mean, I know they have this cover story that the mothers are all choosing, and I'm sure it's informed consent, not under pressure. They're not in an area where they literally can't talk to their family. They can't talk to the attorneys. They're being threatened by ICE. They're being threatened by Tom Homan. Oh yeah, they're consenting to take the kids with them, all right. But the more important point is that he's being honest. We're not going before immigration judges. They're not at all. ICE is busting down the door or waiting, in ambush for you at an official proceeding. They take you, they send you somewhere. You can't contact anyone. Judges don't even know about it until it's too late. And then you're out of the country, and that's it at that point. So he was at least honest about that. But that said, there were some follow-up questions to him. He was pressed that the father of the child apparently tried to make arrangements to get the child to another family member, an alternative that would allow the child to stay in America. But because the process was so illegally expedited, they weren't able to do that. So let's see what he has to say about that.
Well, when it came to this particular case, you just pointed out that they could have made arrangements. The father tried actually to make arrangements, as we understand it through our reporting. But he and the mother, who were separated since she was in detention after showing up for her appointment, was only allowed a very brief phone call. The father tried to petition to get the child handed over to an American citizen relative. So the mother had to make this decision and took the child with her. It just seems like there could be some more time frame here around due process allowed. That's what the judge is saying there should have been more of a process here.
There was due process. The two-year-old baby was left with the mother because the mother signed a document requesting her two-year-old baby go with her. That's the parent's decision. I don't think the judge knows specifics of this case. Two-year-old went with the mom. The mom signed a paper saying, "I want my two-year-old to go with me." That's a parent's decision.
Okay, so first of all, the idea that we have due process, he already said they're not going before the immigration judges. Lawyers are being barred from seeing them. I don't think you get to claim that you're doing due process if you're like, lawyers can't get anywhere near any part of this process. No lawyers, no journalists, no judges. It's not due process. Oh, the only thing he has to hide behind is that supposedly they have a note that she signed. Now, her lawyer very specifically says it was not a statement of desire. The lawyer says that the mother wasn't given a choice, and she and another woman whose kids were deported with her both wanted their children to remain in the United States. And again, but don't worry about it. Tom Homan said that no, this is what she totally wants. Don't talk to her, don't ask her, don't talk to her lawyers or anything like that. Just trust me. Look at my face and believe that this is the face you can trust on a question of immigration. And so is there gonna be a judge who does an order that you have to allow these kids back in? And if they do, is Trump gonna allow that? US citizens, again, not in CCOT, not locked up with terrorists, no crimes, no MS-13, none of that. US citizen, you think they're gonna let these kids back into the country? Should be the easiest thing in the world, right? I mean, they're US citizens. We'll see, JR, we'll see. What do you think?
They don't have to answer those questions because this is what they wanted. So I'm talking about the percentage of people who were somehow on board and knew what was going on here, even though everyone else was telling them as this administration was taking shape. This is what fascists wanted. There's supporters of fascists in this country. I'm not sure why we have to act like folks who are all about this need to be enlightened about what's happening. They're seeing what's happening and they're cheering it on because they're fascists as well. They support this type of stuff. They think that brown and black folks, Asian folks, Jewish folks, anyone that aren't like them are like inferior human beings. And this guy is carrying out those same belief systems in the form of policy from the administration's point of view. It's what they pitched. So the percentage of people who are like, yeah, let's go, strongly agree with what this president is doing. They're like, yeah, we wanted fascism. These are the same folks who said they'd rather have Vladimir Putin lead the country than Joe Biden. I'm telling you, they're there, they're here. Let's stop acting like Americans aren't the kind of folks that some of these folks are. Because look, they say it about folks on the left, they say it about folks that they disagree with all the time, that they're like disgusting, horrible human beings and shouldn't even be in this country. Why is it so bad to say that about folks who are openly talking about supporting fascists, supporting a departure from the Constitution? It's who they are. It's just who they are. As soon as we understand it, we'll be better off with seeing who we're up against here.
Yeah, and look, previously if we talked about deporting Tom Homan, you'd be like, well, you can't do that. I mean, he's a US citizen, but that doesn't count for anything anymore. They're literally saying if you do damage to America or whatever, Stephen Miller was bragging about that. If you're harming America, it doesn't matter if you're a US citizen, you can be deported. So Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, they have no better claim to not be deported than that kid did. Well, actually, the kid didn't commit any crimes. They're bragging about breaking the law. So they're infinitely more deportable than that kid is. Let's let them start, the next phase of their life in Honduras. They can see how they do or whatever. We'll be sure to send word to local press about who they are and what they've advocated for. And then they can go down there. They're actively hurting America. I mean, who can really disagree with that? And so look, we're in really dark times. It's getting really bad fast.